Let's back up a second. We knew nothing. So a lot of times people would just help each other. You would buy the material, and then your friends would come over and you would build the deck. And I was just hustling.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the second episode of the Stoll-N-Time podcast. Today we have the most anticipated guest ever, probably the only anticipated guest, the only person I've mentioned that we were having on it. If you guys saw the first episode, it was a bonus episode with my brother. I don't think anybody was expecting that. But today we have a business owner, a family man, a father, a husband, a avid pickleball player, and most importantly, my dad. This is the most fun part. Dad, welcome to the podcast. Everybody has been wanting to hear the story of how we got to the point of where we are today, because the YouTube end of things has really only shown the success of it, not how it got to where it is. And there has been many years of hard work and dedication and prioritizing your life to make not only the construction, but the snow removal company both successful. And I think we should start before you even had any businesses. As a kid, what was life like for you growing up when you were, well, you were a teenager when you started the companies, but from say 10 on, what was life like?
Good. I mean, we had a great family life.
Money was not a very big part of your life. You guys weren't.
No.
Financially, it was not the same.
Well, but Nan and Pop worked their tails off.
Yeah.
It was a different time.
Yeah.
Back then. One thing that I take away from both of them is my work ethic.
Yeah.
Pop would work for the state of New York, 7 to 4:30 every day, and then immediately after work, man, he was always doing a second job, and I was tagging along with him.
Helping him out.
I did that all the time.
This is at what age? 12, 13?
He was mowing lawns, and put it this way, I was stretching my arms to reach the top of the lawnmower to push it.
You're a kid.
Young.
Yeah.
Young.
Maybe preteen.
Preteens, and then when I was teens, and what I felt like I was mowing 2 football fields with a 22-inch push mower from Grand Union that your grandfather would buy every single year. Grand Union was like a local little grocery store.
Yeah.
And in the front of the store, they used to sell lawnmowers every spring. He would buy one every single year. They were like $89, 22 inches wide, and he had a couple steady grass cutting customers and free labor.
Yeah.
So I was cutting lawn.
Bring your kid to work day.
Bring your kid to work day. That was before Bring Your Kid to Work Day even existed.
Yeah,
it was even a thing.
Maybe he invented it.
And then Pop would leave me there, and I swear, I felt like I was mowing 2 football fields. And, probably 3/4 of a football field, but at that age, it was, but, I mean, we would cut trees down, whatever it took.
Yeah.
Whatever it took. Clean out attics, clean out basements.
Just anything you could do.
Paint houses in the summertime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then you go to high school. You're still working on the side with him, afternoons and nights and stuff like that while you're...
So back up a little bit.
Okay.
We lived in a 4-family apartment building. We lived in the end apartment. Your grandfather did all the maintenance on the apartment building for the owner of the building, Mr. Townsend.
Okay.
And we had a gentleman Francis Brophy, that would collect the rent. Nan and Pop were super good friends. Whenever Francis came by to collect the rent, it was always an hour and a half, 2-hour ordeal at the kitchen table, having a cup of coffee.
They're hanging out and talking. Catching up.
And the next thing you know, he would mention that, hey, we need the siding repaired on the house. So Pop would fix the siding. They would offset the rent, and they worked like that. And then in 1982, your grandfather got the opportunity to buy the 4-family apartment building, and he bought it.
Okay.
And that's where, I mean, we were grandfather came up with the idea on a Saturday and Sunday. We were going to put a second floor addition on it. And me and Uncle Dominic Mancuso, everybody was going to show up to help. Saturday morning, there was nobody but me, Dominic, your Uncle Dennis, and your grandfather.
4 of you.
4 of us. Rip off the roof. So I was always doing construction.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I worked for Dominic's son, Jeff. I worked for Jeff for a while.
But this is while you were still in school?
This is Jeff's. I worked with Jeff right after I got out of high school. I had worked all the summers prior to that. I had a neighbor in the backyard was Kevin O'Donnell, who worked for Structure Tone down in the city. And Kevin was doing home improvements in between being laid off if a job was slow, Saturdays and Sundays, evenings. And then once that caught on, there was a summer. I was working with Kevin doing decks and siding and roofing. I was 15 years old. I was making $600 a week.
Yeah. You're loving life.
Oh my God. I was just, and that's
$600 back then was a lot of money.
Oh my God. And I was just hustling.
Yeah.
I was just hustling. And Kevin, it got to the point to where Kevin would be working in the city during the summer times, and his wife Peggy, because I didn't have a driver's license, would drive me to the job and drop me off, come back, bring me lunch, come back at the end of the day if Kevin wasn't home on time and grab me.
Why did you need a driver's license?
Why would I need a driver's license?
Yeah, there's no cops in town back then.
Yeah, there was.
Yeah, but you were friends with all of them.
Yeah, we were, but don't. Yeah.
I've heard some stories of you messing with the cops.
Yeah, I don't know if friends would be the term, though. Rivals.
Frenemies.
Yeah,
Without registration, without license plates. Yeah.
Yeah. So you could get away with stuff back then that you're not getting away with nowadays.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So high school, you were working for, what's his name, Kevin?
No, pre-high school. This is 14 and 15 years old, Brad.
Yeah. That's middle school.
No, that's the beginning of high school.
15, yeah.
Yeah, beginning of high school.
So okay. So at what point, you didn't finish high school?
No.
You dropped out of high school.
I dropped out of high school in 11th grade.
At what point was it like, I'm done with school, I'm just going to work?
I had a hard time focusing in school. It just was not my gig.
Yeah, I can relate to that.
I remember the day crystal clear. Me and Vinny Brooks got called down to the principal's office. We were 11th grade. Mr. Sepulveda gave us a whole big speech that I was in the Marines, and in the Marines, they say you shit or you get off the pot. And me and Vinny looked at him. I guess we're getting off the pot, and we just, out of the building we went.
So Vinny dropped out of high school too?
With me. Same day.
Same day?
Same day, same minute.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So and then, you know that went over like a lead balloon.
Yeah.
With your grandparents.
So they didn't know that you were dropping out?
Oh, no.
They had no idea. You just came home and you're like, guess what? I'm not going back to school.
They knew that I was pushing the envelope with
grades,
not going to school on time,
yeah,
cutting class and all of that nonsense, right? Just like everybody else did, right? Leaving to go to parties in the afternoon, leaving at lunchtime. They did not. And then, but when I got home and all the dust settled with your grandparents, their thing was you have to go back and get your GED and be done with it. So Aunt Frances worked for the superintendent of schools, Ron Down, at the time.
Okay.
She was able to get me in, sit down, take the GED. I went in and I actually graduated before my class graduated.
Right.
Got my GED. Went back, got my GED. And
what is the process of getting a GED like? Well,
typically, if you drop out of school, there was a New York State Department of Education rule that you couldn't sit for 24 months or something like that. I don't remember exactly what it was.
Okay.
So we're like, all right, so and the further you get away from all of your educational stuff, the more difficult would be to take a test, right?
Yeah.
So you would think. So I was able to get right back in.
Because you had a connection.
With like 6-8 months later, boom, done, passed it.
So it's a GED is just a test?
The GED is your high school equivalent diploma. Back then, you didn't have regents and all this other stuff, right?
Right.
So
But you would go take a test, and if you pass the test, you get the GED.
you get
It's
your-
not like a class that you have to go. It's
No,
one
no,
day.
you go and you sit and you take a 1-day test. That's it.
And
It's a long test.
Yeah. So it's kind of like a Regents, but it's more
Exactly.
broad.
Covers the whole broad spectrum.
Yeah.
History, math, English, the
Yeah.
whole bit. Science.
Regents is just a New York thing, though, right?
New York thing.
Yeah. So anybody listening to this that is not from New York, Regents is basically like a state exam.
Regents is a bunch of garbage.
Yeah, it's basically a state exam to.
There's one thing, guys. I'm not an advocate for dropping out of school. I'm an advocate for. I would have done better. Here's a crazy thing. I'm sorry for jumping around, but I think we need to get back to the trades being in a school function. I need you to think that the kids need to learn how to balance a checkbook. I think the kids need basic understanding of mechanical functions, and you're going to eventually be a homeowner, hopefully.
Right.
Right?
You're learning a bunch of stuff in school that is not real life
None of it.
You're not using
None of
it
it. You're not using
day
it.
to day. There's so much stuff that as you progress in life and you like get to different
Stages
of life that you're then learning as a young adult that you should have probably learned in high school.
Those are light bulb moments, right? So those are light bulb moments. You get to somewhere, you're 20 years old, you don't understand what it means to pay a mortgage payment, to have homeowners insurance, to have all that stuff.
Yeah.
You get to 30, guess what? You understand.
Yeah, you have to figure it out.
And it's more important to invest in yourself, and you can invest in yourself in education and all that stuff, but the amount of debt that these kids are coming out of college with right now,
Yeah, it's crazy.
and then trying to go and afford a household, raise a family, it just really stymies that process.
Yeah. And a lot of people, me and Chris talked about this in the first episode. A lot of people get degrees and then they go get a job.
They're
That
not even
degree
in the
has
same field.
the degree has nothing to do with the job.
Yeah.
He does.
No,
Chris is a prime example.
Yeah.
It's a box to check half the time.
Yeah. And you know, and listen, the whole college atmosphere, from your housing to your books to all this other stuff, it's just a money generating machine.
Yeah. And
That's
look
all.
at Shannon. Like, granted, she decided she wanted to do this, got a degree in it, did it, didn't like it, said I'm going back to school. But the amount of debt that she racked up, luckily she has a very good job and she can pay off her debt.
Your sister's on it.
Yeah.
Your sister's on it.
But
She's a
the
different beast.
but the dollar amount for
Don't forget
college debt is astronomical
Ridiculous.
for her.
The day your sister came into the house and told us that she wasn't fulfilled with her job, I won't say what I said to her here, but I told her, I said, listen, we're done paying for kids. We're trying to retire. We want eventually want to retire.
Yeah, because you were paying for her college.
We helped.
Yeah.
Your sister did a lot of loans
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff like that. We helped her out along the way. But she, on the second one, she did the brunt of it.
Yeah. And now she has a very good job, so
And
she's not
listen,
worried.
She's just a beast.
Yeah.
But what I was saying about the school function and having metal shop, wood shop.
We have those,
Yeah, but
nobody's forced to take those classes. You have to select them.
does
like-
BOCES still offer automotive,
Well,
electrical?
well, yeah, but Arlington had that in the school, and then you could go to BOCES as well if you wanted to.
Why wouldn't you go there? You just don't understand it at that age. You don't think it's important.
has
Well,
a negative-
BOCES
negative-
has a negative stigma around
Yeah.
it. People think that BOCES is like a special
special
education
education,
type of
yeah,
place.
Yeah, they drop
Yeah.
outs.
So, when you're not, it's another thing. You're not taught anything about BOCES until the
you don't-
scenario comes up where you have to go to BOCES or you know somebody that's
you
going to
don't have a
BOCES.
clear understanding of it.
Nobody knows what it is until you're either going to it or somebody
and
you
hear a
know.
lot of stuff from the kids in school, and that's where it gets its negative connotation, right?
Yeah,
That's where
yeah,
you just
yeah.
leave it, right?
Right. But I took wood shop in Arlington High School. Like there was a classroom dedicated just to wood. I took a metal shop. There's an automotive shop. Like people are learning how to pull motors out of
Auto
cars and
body
stuff
shop.
like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So like they do offer that, but it's not something that you have to take.
You don't have. It's not an elective, right? That was what you.
No,
would
it
do.
is
No,
an
it is an
elective.
elective.
It is
Yeah.
an elective. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's not a.
It's not like home ec used to. Remember home ec when we were younger?
Yeah.
Everyone
Home economics
everyone
was-
took home ec.
Yeah, and you had to learn how to make.
That was middle school though.
Yeah,
Once you
and-
got into high school, you didn't have to take it anymore.
But you learned how to make biscuits. It would be so much more efficient if I learned how to work on like my boiler. Or like if I learn
Yeah.
how a car works, or
Yeah.
like I can make biscuits at the ingredient. The directions are
Yeah.
on the
Right.
box. Like,
Yeah.
So those range of things that when you're 15 to 20 that seem important, 20 to 25 that seem important, at 30 years old they are completely different. And you've aged out to where you now can digest it and understand it. It's like, oh, what mom and dad are saying. Well, all
Yeah,
right,
as a
and
kid-
now I get it.
As a kid, it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't register.
Yeah.
Well, it puts
So
it-
let me just get one
Yeah.
point in before we do. We're jumping all over the place. But you're looking at somebody that in 7th grade they failed me in woodshop.
Yeah.
No way.
Failed me in woodshop, Mr. Malley.
But that was because
I wanted to be busy in that class, and because we were building birdhouses and
stuff that didn't interest you,
no,
or it's too easy.
It's pretty simple for me.
Yeah, it was too easy.
Pretty simple.
Cut 4 squares and
Yeah,
a piece of plywood for a
pitch the roof and
Yeah.
hang a little piece of chain on it. So you
and
can
you're
hang from the
gluing it
tree,
together
right?
at that point.
Yeah, what's that?
You're probably gluing it together at that point.
No, staple gun.
Okay.
Yeah, a little nail gun. But there it is. So so he failed me in woodshop, right?
Yeah.
So it is what it is. And I was already doing real world stuff. I was hanging around people that were renovating buildings and stuff like that. And I'm in there and I'm taking balsa wood and making silly ass little models.
Yeah. You could build a deck or a house at this point. And
At that point, I was very good at being a carpenter's helper, carrying lumber, knew what dimensional lumber was,
right.
all that stuff.
And it felt like a step backwards when you tell you to build a birdhouse.
And so those are, we're talking a lot of the construction stuff, right?
Right.
At the early ages of me just being around neighbors back then that you fixed your stuff.
Yeah.
And if you wanted a deck, you built it.
That's because money was hard to come by back then, that you had
In our neighborhood, we were lower middle class.
Yeah.
Right? And we worked for everything we had. So a lot of times people would just help each other. You would buy the material and then your friends would come over and you would build the deck.
Yeah.
Your grandfather was on the go 24/7, no matter what. I remember waking up, back in the day, he did a garbage route Saturday mornings and Wednesdays. He had all the trailer parks in Stony Point and Haverstraw. And they would leave 5 a.m. in the morning. He had a little international dump truck. And this is when you toss cans by hand. And I remember.
It's like somebody's hanging on the back of it. Or the driver's getting.
You're walking. You're walking along. It's not like a dump truck. It's a regular, like a little mason dump for today's terms, right?
Oh, so there's one person driving it and one person walking.
Driving it and crawling in first gear, and two young
Just
kids
throwing garbage
and you
into
would just, one on each side of the street, and you would toss cans right in the back, shake it, put it right back by the driveway.
Garbage is a one-man job now.
Yeah, because everything's automated, right?
You got the claw and just grab it.
Right? And but I remember being up at 4:45 and waiting in the kitchen to see if your grandfather would take. And come on, let's go. And
To go do garbage with him.
Up the top of the hill.
Wherever he was going.
Up the top of Tompkins Avenue, bang a right to where Fireside is right now. That used to be called the Pancake House. Your grandfather, boom, breakfast. You know him.
Yeah.
Breakfast got to start off the day,
Can't
right?
skip breakfast.
No matter what. Boom. Right into the Pancake House. Harry Florsheim, who we just renovated his house for him and his wife, Beverly. They owned it. Pop was personal friends with him. Boom, breakfast there. And then we were off over to the trailer parks. Grabbed Charlie Palmer, Michael Palmer, and boom, and we were just off and just...
Real quick, speaking of breakfast, I heard that the restaurant by Vinny's shop, what's that, Sparky's?
Yeah.
Caught on fire last week?
It didn't catch... the sign caught on fire on the roof.
Oh,
So
somebody put it on Facebook
and listen,
today.
that place is... That bleeds North Rockland. So those firemen and cops were on that in a heartbeat. They stayed.
They're getting there quick.
They melted the sign. The sign got melted. They put the fire out real quick.
What was it? An electrical thing?
Most likely electrical inside.
Okay, but nothing with the restaurant.
Nothing with the restaurant.
Okay, because that's been there forever.
Yeah. Forever.
Yeah. Okay.
And it was a different name back in the day.
Yeah, but that building has been a restaurant there.
Yep.
It's a small little diner.
Small little diner.
Yeah.
So we haven't even touched on the snow plowing.
Yeah, we'll get to that later.
Right, the snow plowing things. We're bouncing all over with construction at an early age.
Yeah, but the snow plowing came after. You were doing construction.
No.
You were snowplowing before you
No.
did construction?
Before, I was doing construction, but I wasn't doing it I was doing it weekends and summers with Kevin. After school, if he had something, we would be finishing a basement at night, right? He would come home from work, we would go, we would frame it out, and a lot of stuff Kevin did back then was metal studs because he was a city carpenter.
Okay.
Metal studs, wood blocking, sheetrock insulation. We would spackle it at night, and we would work until 6, 7 o'clock at night, 8 o'clock at night, put a couple hours in. And I had gotten an opportunity, and I think it's, me and your mother were trying to figure out the dates last night. I think it was 1980. I got my license in 1981. I got my permit. 1980, I got an opportunity to work at Wilson Art down in Congers. Your grandfather was a warehouse foreman there. That's where they, for Mike, they sold for Mike out of. They got delivered from Texas to there, and they distributed it up on the Eastern Coast. To do like the landscaping, the mulching, just a summer job, like a 1-month summer job that they hired each year to do weed whacking around the building.
Property maintenance stuff.
Yeah, outdoor maintenance. So, right, Pop, I would ride in with Pop in the morning. Start time was 6 o'clock. We would ride in 6 to 2 o'clock, right? 6 to 2:30, I think it was. And I would do weed whacking. At that age, I was young. I was 15 years old.
Yeah.
I would sneak around the back. They had like a railroad track with like a loading dock on the back that never got used. I would hop up on the loading dock, take a half-hour nap, home, right, screw off like a kid. Weed whack as soon as I heard.
Sounds like Chris when he plows snow for us.
As soon as I heard somebody come and get up and start whack like I was working. But I made my first paycheck there, like, because when I was working with Kevin and all those guys, it was cash.
Yeah, yeah.
It was cash. It wasn't an official.
It wasn't an actual job.
Yeah, it wasn't an actual job. And so I did that, and I was on your grandfather. I saw this truck up on Willow Grove Road, 1965 Dodge Dually 300, cabin chassis, no bed on it. And so I had my first 2 weeks. We got paid every 2 weeks.
Okay.
So I had that, and I think it was, I don't even want to think it was $600 for a whole month, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I was on your grandfather. We got it. So, of course, Pop, I know that guy. So, boom, pull in the yard. We negotiate with him. $350 later, we're taking the truck home.
That's crazy.
We lived in the apartment building, got the truck down. I don't even remember how we got it down there.
Probably drove it.
Got it in the yard, and it had no bed on it. So your grandfather was working with a guy that was, back then, was sawing lumber up in Westbrookville by Aunt Pat and Uncle Gary's house. So he took a truck up there, got enough rough sawn lumber, and we built a wooden bed on it. This is pre-license. I don't have a license.
Yeah.
So we're getting it all ready to go on the road, make it look nice. And
This is just with like
I
2x10s or something.
I don't care what you did to this truck. The way that the sheet metal was on this truck, the fenders were gigantic. The hood was gigantic, right? You could never get, nowadays you can get the door seams and all the hood seams laser perfect, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There was no way. So the fenders were rotted on it. The lower half of the fender and the back side of the wheel well were rotted. Your grandfather says, I know where I saw that same truck over at Teplitz in Nanuet. I was over there. I was dropping. I was scrapping. I was doing something. And one of our neighbors, Johnny Martello, worked in the Teplitz's yard. So your grandfather gets a hold of Johnny and says, hey, I need 2 fenders. No problem. Stop back after work. I'll have them for you. Boom. Pop brings home new fenders. I unbolt the fenders, put the fenders on. I mean, back then it was just all just bolted together,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
No clips or anything like that.
It's probably a lot easier to work on trucks.
Oh, it was super easy.
back then.
I could sit inside the engine compartment. That had a 318 in it.
Yeah.
I could sit inside the engine compartment and do a tune-up.
Yeah, yeah.
Sit right in on the fender well. It had a steel fender well. Sit right in there, do the tune-up, do everything. It was crazy. And then, so I get that all pretty well figured out. If fenders hung, hood adjusted as well as I could, right? And me and my cousin Jerry were sitting in the yard, and we're like putting around the yard and the thing, right? Boom. That yard was always a mud hole because either it was our motorcycles, go-karts that we had.
Was this
Spring Street.
Okay, but
This
it's the
apartment-
park. It's
this
the parking
apartment
lot.
building that Pop bought before
But
Pop bought.
but in the parking lot part,
No, in the lawn.
it's not very big.
Back then, it felt like it was gigantic.
Yeah.
Right?
He's just doing circles.
But this is
Bro,
like
literally little circles.
this is like a 30 by 30 square.
Wait, was it paved as far
Right?
back as
Maybe
it
a little
was?
bit bigger.
Was it paved as far back?
That was all gravel.
So that was so you
that was
that was
all
your
gravel.
that was your
Oh, so
play.
where there
Gravel
where,
to grass.
Okay.
okay, so the where there's blacktop parking spots now were gravel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
And then
but that whole that
No.
square
So
is not very big to begin with.
20 feet off of the chain link fence, not Brian Cosman's side.
Yeah.
20 to 30 feet was grass over there with a hedge line, and there used to be a pool.
Okay.
And we had a shed over there at one time. So that was like an L-shaped grass, right? So we're all just tenants there, right?
Yeah.
We got Aunt Pat and Uncle Gary in the first one, Mary Jane and Billy Verano, Aunt Laura and Uncle Gerald, and us, right? It was like a family compound.
Yeah.
In the middle of the yard, guys, was a telephone pole with a 4x4 bolted to it, and to everybody's house was a clothesline.
That's how you dried your
When we
clothes.
first started there, lived there, we didn't have dryers. We had a washing machine.
Yeah.
You hung everything out on the clothesline. And then Pop's mom, Big Nan, Nan would be able to get you this, and Aunt Laura would be able to do it. Nan decided that she was going to buy all the kids dryers. So she came down for one Christmas, and she had dryer for Aunt Pat, dryer for Aunt Laura, and a dryer for us. And we had a dryer now. It's like, woo, so we didn't grow up. And of course, in the wintertime, when your grandfather was hunting, that telephone pole became where we hung the deer from in the front yard. So it was just, yeah. So we were like living like the classic rednecks. And
So that truck that you bought became a plow truck?
that truck never got a plow on it, right? That truck, me and my cousin Jerry are sitting around driving in the yard. Well, now we want to broaden our horizons, and we're like, all right, we can't get going fast enough here. No license plates, no registration. Boom, down Spring Street, up Wood Avenue, bang a right on Main Street, get cranking, and all of a sudden the hood just folds back over the windshield. Can't see anything.
Smash the windshield?
No, just big old dent in the hood, right? So up on the windshield, slam on the brakes, slam the hood down, the latch. Probably from when I put the fenders on, I probably didn't have the hood latch.
Yeah.
Right, but we were too busy. We wanted to get driving, and so next thing you know, I punch 2 holes in the top of the hood, and I take an old piece of our dog chain, and I send it down around, and now I chain it.
So it can't come off.
So now the hood. Every
Yeah,
time you would drive, the hood would rise a little bit until the chain got tight.
And that's where it
That
just
would
held
be
it.
Boom. And then if you wanted to open the hood, you take the
The
chain
original
off.
hood scoop.
Yeah,
Yeah, the whole hood
that-
comes up.
I wanted to put a plow on that, but it just never got around to it. That truck. So as soon as I turned 16, so instead of going to school, I went up into the woods and I started cutting down like 10-foot lengths of logs, and I was going to sell firewood. I pull in the yard. I load.
Whose trees are you cutting down?
I'm cutting down up in where rock ice was. It was just a big old patch of woods.
It's like public land.
Private property back then, but gigantic. Nobody paid attention. to
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
Right?
But you're just out in like
I didn't
random
cut I
woods
didn't
cutting
cut
down trees.
Living trees. I cut down what was already on the ground.
Oh,
Cut it
oh,
up, all right, if it had fallen. And then I dump it right in the middle of the yard in the apartment building.
yeah.
Like nobody else lives there, right? Bam! I dump everything right in the middle, and I got a whole firewood processing center going on.
And then everyone's coming home, and there's just a new pile of trees every day.
God. Like, what is he up to now?
Yeah.
So what were you thinking? You're like going through this age. What were you thinking your career was going to be? Were you just going to do what Pop does and just do a little bit of everything, or did you think you were going to do construction at this point?
No, I didn't know. All I knew is that I was going to hustle and make money at whatever I could, and it was getting chilly, and I knew people needed firewood, so I was going to cut firewood.
You're just done with school and just doing whatever can make you money.
No, I was still in school, but I would cut a day from school. Me and Jerry would cut a day in school, go in the woods and cut wood. Right? Nan thinks I'm at school. Nan's at work.
So this is freshman, sophomore year?
This is 16.
Okay.
This is most likely freshman year because, Yeah, probably freshman.
Yeah. So, all right. So freshman year, you're doing all this nonsense,
Yep.
whatever you want to do, basically. At what point did you decide that you want to start your own construction company? Or did it kind of just evolve from like picking up smaller jobs,
It
jobs,
evolved.
and then
It
I need
evolved.
help with this. I need help with this. I need more.
So what had happened was, and you got to start. I'm doing the construction part time with Kevin.
Yeah.
Helping him out. Pop won't now. We're working on the apartment building, right? Renovating the apartment building, and in 1981, your grandfather buys a 1968 Chevy K30 single wheel pickup, but it has a utility bed on it. He buys it from this guy, I think his name Brian Booth, over in Pomona. In great shape. 4-speed, right? Myers little plow frame on the front, right? And I sent you the controller. It was called, if I'm not mistaken, an electro lift. It had like a wire loop cable, like you see on old lawnmower throttles, and you push the lever in, and it hit a button, and that was it would ground out the power, and it would raise the plow.
Okay.
And then if you wanted the plow to come down, you pulled it back, and it pulled the lever on the front of the pump and just opened it up, and it went gravity down.
There was no speed to it.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No. You died waiting for the thing.
So you plowing snow was a slow process with that.
Yeah. So that's the first one. You want to get out, you got to power angle it. Guess what? You're getting out and you go in the front. There was a little horseshoe with another piece of flat sock on it with a hole in it and a pin. You pull the pin out, boom.
Manually angle the plow,
angle it.
Lock it in, and that's
Lock
how it
it
is
in
until you get out again.
Just start plowing to the right.
Yeah.
You didn't want you made sure you worked that truck the way you wanted the snow to go, because you weren't getting in and out of the truck.
So what age was this?
I was 16.
So 16 is when you first started plowing snow.
16. I was shoveling snow, people's driveways.
Yeah.
Prior to that, right? 16, Pop got that green truck. I'm going up the hill in the neighborhood, doing stuff like that, plowing snow, doing that. And all of a sudden, I get a phone. Back then, we had landlines. You didn't have
Cell phones. Yeah.
So I was working, doing construction for somebody, and somebody had mentioned to me that they were looking for somebody at the Stony Point Shopping Center where Grand Union was. They had a liquor store in there, and the guy that owned the liquor store, Vernon June, he didn't actually own it. He was the original developer of the shopping center, and he had sold it to Poughkeepsie Iron and Steel, and they were looking for somebody to do it. So I started plowing that shopping center.
Poughkeepsie?
No. Stony Point.
No, but you said they sold it to
They sold it to Poughkeepsie and Iron. And so what ended up
That's
happening,
from up here?
Vernon June had built the shopping center, and a story was told to me that he got behind on his payments. Poughkeepsie Iron and Steel is the people that had provided all the steel for the shopping center, and they had put a lien on it. So
they're from up here.
They're from up here.
So was that your first time ever like being like, what's Poughkeepsie?
Yeah. I wouldn't have known.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have known what Poughkeepsie was.
That's
at that
crazy,
time.
actually.
Yeah,
I
right.
wouldn't know what
And now we live 10 minutes
so
away
Vernon
from
I
June-
do live in it.
Well, me and you do.
Yeah.
He lives 10 minutes from
That's
there.
crazy.
Yeah, so we're down there plowing. I got the Grand Union. It's got at that time it had a Nanuet National Bank in it, which eventually became Bank of New York. So I'm plowing that shopping center. And the next year I go and I buy a used Blazer. And now I've got an E47 Myers pump on the front, which is power angle, everything, right? Vinny has got a Jeep Wagoneer. He's got an E47 on the front. So me and him are doing the shopping center. He's got his Jeep Wagoneer and I got the Blazer, and we're plowing it, boom, and we're doing our thing.
This is while you're still in school, or you're done with school at this point?
We're still in school.
Okay.
We're still in school. Yeah, so we're doing that, and this is just about the time that me and him both leave school,
Yeah.
and I start working construction with Adam Araggio's dad, Kenny.
Okay.
Right? He lives up in the colony. Doing my thing with Kenny. I was with Kenny for a while, right? And Kenny was, I can't, him and Annette, Adam's mom and dad, I can't tell you how nice of people they were.
Yeah, I've never met them.
I was a 16, 17-year-old kid,
Yeah.
right? Next thing I know, Kenny's, I mean, back then.
Adam's younger than you?
Adam's younger than me. Adam, we were building a custom home, and Kenny says, "Yeah, I'm gonna have Adam work with you." You know, I had always heard about the kids,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And they would come and clean up wood. But Adam was a swimmer in school, right?
Okay.
And so Adam shows up. He don't even want to climb a stepladder. He's afraid of heights. And his first tool belt, I tell him this, was like a Kool-Aid can with Kool-Aid, you know, the dry mix, and like a piece of string.
Through it.
That was it.
Just
That was
tied
it.
it around his waist.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So he just put whatever screws or nails he
I
needed,
couldn't
he
get
put in
him
there.
up on a 4-foot step ladder to save his life. And I was at that time. I was already. Kenny would on Saturdays and Sundays. Kenny would sub sheathing to me. If we were building a house, he'd say, "Hey, you want to work Saturday and Sunday? Yeah, all right. I'll give you $4 a sheet." He would give me $4 a sheet to hang sheathing. So okay,
But this is while you're working for him, basically.
I'm working for Kenny.
So he's not subbing it out to you. He's just basically
No,
giving.
during the week I'm working hourly,
Oh, and then weekend.
and then Saturday and Sundays he said, "Hey, you want to do extra?"
yeah.
And I would do extra with him.
Different rate.
Different rate,
Depending
$4
on-
a sheet.
depending on what you were
He
doing,
didn't have to babysit me. He didn't have to be there and know if I was going to show up on time or anything. It's $4
Yeah.
a sheet.
Yeah.
And so me,
It's easy for him. He goes there and counts the
I'm
sheets.
going 400 sheets, and you had to do it neatly, nail it off. A couple times I got yelled at, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
I was young.
Yeah.
Man, I was just slapping sheets on,
Yeah.
slapping sheets on.
It
and
was,
going,
in your mind, it was how many can I get done?
how many can I
Not
get on?
how clean can I get it done?
How many can I get on today?
Yeah.
And we would go, and so I was doing that with Kenny, and Kenny was cool. When we were traveling, Brand, back then, Kenny would have relatives down in Jersey. We would head down to Jersey, down to Garden State. We're in early 80s vans. Dude, there's no going fast in these things, right?
Yeah.
The whole back is rattling with all the tools in it, the noise.
It's like 50 miles per hour is fast in those, right?
They would do 60, but the rear end would be screaming,
Yeah.
right? And so that van that I actually drove back and forth down there, Kenny said to me, "Hey, I'm going to get a new van. Do you want to buy it?" So he sold me that, and it was $50 a week for 4 weeks for $200, right?
Yeah.
And so that van actually turned into the very first work van that me and your uncle started construction with.
So you work for Adam's dad.
Yep, but during working for Adam's dad, another critical snow plowing event happened. Kenny lived in the Tompkins Lake Colony, 7 miles of road, always done by a little private guy with a pickup truck. Well, the guy that was doing it with the pickup truck was retiring. Kenny said to me, "Hey, do you want to put a bid in on the colony?" And I said, "Oh, without a doubt. $10,300 per year. You had to supply everything. Salt, sand, everything." So I was doing the Stony Point Shopping Center, and I was doing that. And in between there, I had bought 60 residential houses from a guy in town named Bouncer Baisley.
You bought them?
I bought them from him. 10% of each year's revenue. So they were $15 and $20 driveways, Brand.
What do you
From
mean you
new
bought? Wait, you're saying you bought the contract to plow the snow for them?
For those driveways.
You didn't buy. You say you worded, "I bought the house." Like people are going to think that you physically bought the house.
No.
You bought that.
Bouncer had a route.
Yeah. You bought that route to
I
do
bought
those.
that route from Bouncer.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
had 66 residential houses.
Okay, so you're doing
Oh.
the complex, you're doing the colony, and then you're doing these 60 houses as well.
It's doing 60. It was 66 houses, right?
Okay, and this is just you.
This is $10. This is $15 and $20. You spent. Yeah, and of course everybody wanted it done by 7:30 in the morning, right?
Yeah, of course.
So we're just running our asses off trying to get them done.
How many people are plowing for you?
Just two of us.
You and Vinny.
Oh my God, we were just running our tails off.
Yeah. Was it
disappointing people because we couldn't get to everybody?
Was it a free for all, or was it like you do these and I'll do these?
No. It was organization as well as you could be organized because there was no communication, there was no technology.
Oh, you can't talk to him.
Can't talk
unless
to everybody.
You see him. You can't talk to him.
You can't talk to him unless you get to a landline.
You guys both just know what needs to get done.
You got to go. This is what you got to do.
Yeah, truck breaks down. You have no idea that.
No, you got no idea what the other person's doing.
Or anything.
Yeah.
Today,
that's crazy.
Dad's taking his nap while Vinny's out plowing.
Nonsense. There were a couple occasions where we were at the bar a little bit too late, but we were young. So I bought that from about that. That lasted 2 years, because what ended up happening, you would plow the driveway on a Tuesday. Wednesday, you'd have to go knocking on the door to collect. You didn't have Venmo.
Yeah.
You didn't have Zelle, right? You go back. I would spend more time chasing that $20, and I'm like, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
This is crazy. So over the next winter, I go to work for Steve Farkas and Rick Gustafson. They own Penny Bridge Marina and Stony Point. They have a contract with one of their buddies that has a boat in the marina that's like the head of Con Edison down in Queens, and they were doing turbine rebuilding, bearings, shafts, whatever needed to be done. We would meet right by the bridge in Stony Point. There was a bakery there, Messina's Bakery. They had a Suburban. We would park our cars. We would get in their Suburban and go down there. So as we're doing this, I'm talking to those guys, and they know that I do snow plowing. They're doing snow plowing.
Are they doing snow plowing on the same level as you? Like
They're
driveways?
doing snow plowing probably at a tick higher than me.
Okay.
They had a bunch of Bank of New Yorks. They had Hornick's factory down in Haverstraw. So
that's definitely the next level.
Then right? So they asked me, they're like, we're done with the snow. You want to buy everything? So I buy their trucks.
So that was a massive step for you.
Yeah. And again, that was all based on next year's revenue.
Yeah.
Because nothing was guaranteed money back then. So whatever I made, I would show them all the revenue and then just pay them for that. And that was probably at the point of the catalyst of realizing what I could do and how I could leverage snow plowing, because at that same time, within 2 years of me getting that contract from them, the greatest thing in the world ever happened to snow plowing. ATM machines came out. So everybody was using ATMs. The banks needed the sidewalks cleared, the parking lots cleared for slip and falls, because now everybody wants to go to the branch middle of the night and go to the ATM.
Why is an ATM at that point such a big deal?
Because you couldn't get your money. If the bank wasn't physically open, you couldn't get your money out of the bank.
Why not just go to the bank when it's open and get your money out?
I don't know. I can't explain to why people wouldn't go during the day. Maybe they're working, right? Maybe they can't get there. But now they made the ATMs at every single bank.
It's 24/7 now.
24/7. So now snow plowing.
The banks want those ATMs. But a bank, it doesn't make sense because a bank isn't making money when you're going to the ATM.
It's keeping customers, though. If you have an ATM,
your money's
you
in
can
that
get your
bank.
money.
They're making interest on it. They're sweeping that money every night, Brand. They're making money on it.
Yeah, if you can go out at 10 o'clock
they're
to
not in
Bank
the
of
business not to
America.
make money.
Yeah, they're making money on it, but having the ATM there isn't necessarily
No, it's a convenience factor.
It's just convenience for the customer.
But what it ended up being for me was a phenomenal revenue stream, right?
Yeah.
So I end up having like 15 Bank of New Yorks
Yeah.
in Rockland County. Per push, per salting, per shoveling.
So you were getting paid every time you were in that parking lot.
Every time I touched that parking lot. So what I did...
But there has to be a inch active...
No accumulation at that time. They haven't figured it out.
So
Not
you
every
could
2 inches.
you could go in there for half an inch and you're getting paid the same as if you went in there with 5 inches.
Brandon, I put 4 trucks on that route, and they did a circle.
They just kept clearing.
You were in Spring Valley, Bank of New York. You came down 45. You hit Pomona. You come out of Pomona, you come up 202, you hit the top of Garnerville.
So they're all following each other.
They're all following each other.
And you're billing them every time, they're just paying it.
Every time that truck hits that parking lot, plows it, salts it, and shovels the walks, they're all getting billed. Every single time.
And you could be doing this every half inch.
It wouldn't be that low, right? Because then you would only be salting.
Yeah, okay.
Right? So,
and also back then, it snowed a lot more.
It snowed a lot more.
A lot more than it snows now.
Right? And temperatures were colder and stuff like that. So a little bit different.
Yeah.
But I figured out the formula how to generate the most money out of that type of contract.
Just maxing out billing them.
Oh my God, maxing out. So then we got Hornicks down in Havre.
And they, at that point, because they didn't really have a formula for the contract, they can't question you.
Bank of New York had a property management division in-house that managed all their branches in this area, right? And then there would be some for upstate New York and different areas, right? So I had the whole rock.
Everybody had like a region.
Yeah, and nowadays it's all national, right?
Yeah.
All the nationals. And but I figured out that formula. I had Hornicks, which was, again, by the hour per piece of equipment. So we put a backhoe down there. We put a dump truck. We put the dump truck, the all-wheel drive dump truck that I bought from Steve and Rick. We left that there. We're able to park the equipment in the back of the parking lot. Here's the first. This is the second location. The Colony was the first one that they gave me a little yard with a tiny little salt bin in it, right? So I was able to store equipment there. But Hornicks was really the first one on site, and it started to teach me how I had to protect myself against vandalism, anything that might happen with the truck, whether we leak oil or something like that on somebody else's property. All these little things that come with.
This is the first time you're leaving your equipment
on somebody else's
right? property.
Hey, we got a block heater, but we don't have electricity. How do we make sure? So now all these things I'm starting to get into the contract. You must provide us with electric. You must provide us with this. And blah, blah,
As
blah.
you learn it, you add it in.
Yeah,
you didn't know until it happened.
I didn't know. I had no clue. And so I was just going, and then 19...
Wait, so at this point, while you have all these banks and stuff,
I have a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. Is the construction... Are you and Uncle Den doing construction together yet at this point, or not even?
June 20th, if I'm having this correct, June 20th, 1986. First day of business for me and your Uncle Den.
This is Stoll
Brothers Construction.
Yeah.
First job out of the gate, 385 6-foot by 12-foot decks, Hillcrest Point condominiums.
Yep.
They're changing it from condos to townhouses or townhouses to condos, and all the decks needed to be changed. All brand new.
So you're just going one after another, building the same deck.
3 decks. 1 2 foot off the ground, three-story buildings.
Yeah.
One at 12 feet, and one at 17, 18 feet, whatever it was up in the air. So we had to come up with a system. We built the frames on the ground, set the 6x6s, telehandler back then, rudimentary telehandler up, lowered the first box down, lagged it into the house, bolted it to the 6x6, second box up.
Where'd you get the telehandler? You rented it?
The guy that had the contract had the equipment on site. He provided he provided all of them. I only provided labor. He provided all the
equipment. So the material's there, labor's there, or the equipment's there, material's there.
Yep.
You just have to show up and do it.
You just have to show up. And prior to this, I'm working with Jeff Mancuso. You know Jeff.
Yep.
So I'm working with Jeff and sort of telling Jeff that, hey, me and as soon as Dennis gets out, we're going to do our own thing and stuff like that.
Uncle Den finished high school.
Uncle Dennis finished, graduated high school.
As soon as he graduates high school,
boom, we were off and running.
You knew before he was done with school that you guys were going to do this.
We had taught, yeah. So I was out all summer long. As soon as I was done working with Jeff or Kenny or Mike from M&M, I was in the afternoons. I was hanging gutters on people's houses, putting decks on the back, subbing from Jeff. We used to sub roofs from Jeff.
Was Uncle Den doing anything with you on the side or not even? When when you guys first did these decks, these whatever 60 decks or whatever.
No.
Was that like his first
I
thing?
don't remember back then, but there may have been an occasion where I needed a hand.
Yeah,
to do something.
but when you and him first went into business doing however many decks you were doing, 60 decks or whatever, he's learning at that point.
But he had also been tagging along with Pop.
Yeah.
Working at the
so he kind of knows, but you're years ahead of him.
Let's back up a second. We knew nothing.
Yeah. Neither
we knew nothing.
You knew a little bit. He knew nothing.
Yeah. We knew nothing. We knew how to work hard.
Yeah.
Right. We went by the seat of our pants.
And just figured it out.
Yeah, and figured it out. And so nowadays you have all of these how you grow your businesses, how you ramp up everything. There was none of that back then.
Yeah.
You had the best happen. You got a pager, right? Yeah, you got a pager. The thing is buzzing. We're building a house up in Tompkins Lake Colony. The closest payphone is 5 miles down the road. You got to go to a payphone. Now you're losing time on a job site.
Yeah, and you got to hope that the person answers it.
Then by the time you get to the phone, is the person still at the phone that they buzz you from, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. And then I drove your uncle batshit crazy, right? Because I'm like, we got to have two-way radios in the truck. We got to be able to. If we got a couple guys working in New City and we're in town, they need to be able to. Hey, pick up the two-way radio and call us and I'm missing something or I need something, right?
Yeah.
We didn't have cell phones. And then all of a sudden, the very first cell phone came out. It was literally a suitcase you put underneath your driver's seat and a box with a big old phone and a big old battery. And the very first month,
so if it was a battery, you'd have to bring it into your house and charge it overnight.
It was hooked up to your truck.
Oh, the battery on the car.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You plug some of them had cigarette plug lighters.
Oh, okay.
The charger, but the first month, over $800. Your uncle went ballistic.
For how many phones?
One
Don't you need two?
One phone.
Who are you calling with just one? You need somebody.
It was underneath the seat in my black Dodge W300 Snow Commander pickup truck.
Yeah, but don't you need two phones? Because otherwise,
you're calling the lumberyard.
Okay. You're not calling each other.
And I think it was Cellular One, if I'm not mistaken, and out of Mahwah, New Jersey brand was where I went and got the phone. Your uncle lost it. That's back then.
That's a lot of money.
But it cost $800 for like the service, or was it the whole phone was $800?
No, $800 for the service. It was $1,200 for the phone.
And then you have to pay.
Then the first month was $800. We were calling everybody. I was calling everybody.
What was it per phone call you had to pay?
Yeah, by the minute.
That's the greatest thing that ever happened to you. You could just pick up a phone and call someone.
Oh yeah.
Yes, of course you're gonna use it as much as you can.
Oh, yeah, not leaving the job site, right? Ordering material.
Yeah, and you didn't realize until that first bill came how much it was going to cost you.
I was 18 years old. I had no clue.
Yeah. You just bought a phone. You're like, oh, look at this. I can talk to you whenever I want.
No clue. I had no clue. But so nowadays, right? You need lumber 3 days down the road. You email your salesman. Oh yeah, no problem, George. I have it done. Right?
Yeah, and
you didn't have email.
It's sitting on our job sites when we show up there. Yeah.
The communication now is so different than it was back then.
Yeah.
There was basically nothing.
Well, you lived through phones, the internet, computers, everything that changed how you communicate with each other.
Everything.
Like there was no communicating except for in-person communication.
Dramatically.
Yeah, that's
dramatically.
And when these things are coming out, it's okay. We can do this, but what can we really do with this to make everything run flawlessly?
Well, so you're getting ahead of yourself because we didn't run anything flawlessly.
Yeah.
When we were young.
Well, I remember when the push to talks, the Nextel push to talks, man.
Oh, I had them all.
Every one of your guys had a push to talk.
Yeah, but that's
10, 15 years later.
You've skipped probably a 10-year period in there, right? You skipped him being born.
Yeah. Well, that's not important.
Your mother being on a landline with like a 30-foot cord on it that's all tangled in knots with a baby in her arms.
Yeah.
and my customers calling your home because that was your office.
That was the only line they
and
had.
your mother playing secretary.
I remember that as a kid. I remember the long line, and you go into a room or something.
Oh
and
my
it would
God,
be
you
out
could
the
walk
kitchen.
halfway around the house with the
Yeah,
phone.
I remember
There were
that.
no cell phones back then. There was at that point there was pagers. Right?
Okay, so we got you and Uncle Den now.
No. So 87, 86, Uncle Den graduates.
Yep.
We go into business. We
So-
Stoll Brothers Construction.
So the Stoll Brothers Construction is a company. You and Uncle Den. What is
C Corp. Yep.
what is the snow removal at this point? Is it a company or?
The snow removal now we start moving it all into Stoll Brothers Construction.
Oh, so it started as
As me,
well. At first, you were kind of just doing snow for cash,
George Stoll. They
personal.
would write a check to you personally.
Personally, it wasn't a business.
Yeah. No, back then there was no big insurance. I did all of the snow plowing at that Stony Point Shopping Center, the Grand Union, and all of that. Martin's
yeah.
and the liquor store. No insurance.
Yeah,
You didn't have insurance.
you're just a
right?
guy with a plow truck.
You just plowed it.
Yeah.
Vernon June, at the end of the snowstorm, the next night you go there. All right, how many hours you have? Oh, we were here for 10 hours. Okay, at that point, all right, here's $350 for the Blazer, $350 for the Wagoneer.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Vernon. We'll see you next snowstorm. Boom.
And so at that point, like right now in snow, like slip and falls is a big concern.
Oh my God.
Right.
Oh my
so
God.
at that point, nobody was. If you slipped, you got up and you dealt
know
with
what?
it. Right.
There was a different level of common sense. You're going out in the snow. You know you're going out in a dangerous situation.
Yeah.
You fall out, you get hurt,
Nowadays,
you
everyone's
don't
like
point
sue
fingers.
happy, and they're like,
Yeah,
"Oh, if I
exactly.
fall, I
And
can sue
listen,
you."
It's a world full of scammers.
Right now.
So, right now.
Yeah. Back then, that wasn't happening.
Yep.
People fell and they got up. They went home. They put ice on their bruise and they dealt with it.
Yep.
So okay. So now we got Stoll Brothers as the thing. We have Stoll Brothers doing construction and also snow removal. How long was Stoll Brothers doing both before it split into?
Okay, so 1988, 1987, 86 we went in business. 87, I get a phone call for the Spring Valley Marketplace. They need a new snow contractor. And prior to that, there was a company called Arco Management. They owned a bunch of condos, townhouses, nursing homes, shopping centers. So we had gotten from Arco Management, we had gotten the Spring Valley Marketplace. We had gotten a bunch of little, like 20-unit condominiums. And then a call came for the Spring Valley Market, or we got, I forget what it was, not the Spring Valley Marketplace we got in 87, but prior to that, there was a Spring Valley Shopping Center
Okay.
that just got built in the heart of Spring Valley, right at the bottom of
It's basically a strip mall with a parking lot.
yeah, big, fairly decent sized
Yeah,
parking
yeah.
lot at that time. Spring Valley Marketplace was big,
Right.
right? So all of a sudden, we get a phone call from a guy named Richie Kaufman over in Pomona. He must have had the hook on the work over there. At us, we're young. We don't realize. We think he has the contract. He has the contract, but he's subbing it to us. We don't know all of these terminology. We're young.
Yeah.
We don't know all these. So Richie's subbing it to us. And
And you were thinking that you just had the contract and he wasn't even a part of it.
we're thinking
So
that
he was getting
it.
paid and then he's paying you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He wasn't doing a thing.
Yeah.
We were doing all the work.
So he's making a little bit of money
We
to
were
be a
making-
middleman.
So back then we were making $8,800 a month. And I remember Mr. Finnerty saying to me, "Oh, you're crazy with this snow removal stuff and blah, blah, blah." Well, that winter, it snowed twice. Every month the check came in the mail. Boom.
So this was your first contract.
Big
This is your first
shop.
contracted job where you're getting paid no matter what.
Yeah. Getting paid no matter what, right? So I would bust old man Finnerty's chops and I would take that check down.
Yeah,
there and
look
go,
at this. I didn't
hey,
even
Pop,
work and I'm getting paid.
$8,800. I didn't do a thing this month.
Yeah.
And finally he got it. It's funny, full circle. He eventually, when he retired, he came to work for me.
Yeah.
And so then the next year, it snowed maybe 4 or 5 times. So now we're in a second year of a 3-year contract, and all of a sudden, Spring Valley Marketplace Management now sees that they're paying us for doing nothing. They want to change the formula. They want to do it by the inch. So the third year, it snows like crazy.
And it was by the inch at that point.
By the inch.
So how did they, if it was a 3-year contract, how did they change it after the second
problem
year?
is back then, they had outs in the language if they could get out of the contract.
So it would, the way it was
They
worded.
would just say, "Hey, we're going to cancel the contract." And,
Yeah, we're
we're
making something new.
renegotiate. And back then, you weren't contract savvy,
Yeah.
right? So you just did it, and then all of a sudden, now it's snowing to beat the band.
Did you make more?
Oh my God.
You made more
Yeah.
than,
We made
than
more
what you
money.
paid by inch.
So you had 2 years where it was slow. It made them rethink things, and then the third year kind of
Third year,
backfired
as
on
soon
them.
as then it bit them in the ass again, right?
Yeah.
So now it's snowing, and then they had put that whole shopping center. If you look around it, has the metal roofing overhang over top of the walkway.
Okay.
All of a sudden, it's snowing, and as soon as the sun would come up, 7:30, 8 o'clock, it's cold all night long. It's snowing, and when a snowstorm pulls out, all of a sudden the skies get blue, right?
Yep.
You can just see the front leaving. The sun comes out and starts to warm up that snow on that metal roofing, and it starts flying off that metal roofing down at people that are walking to get into the sidewalk.
Oh, it's sliding off the roof.
Oh my God, it's sliding like crazy. Next thing you know, the Spring Valley Building Department is there shutting down the shopping center because it's dangerous.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the phone call comes that now you gotta get the snow off. So now we're on the top of a truck, a box truck, with like brooms on extended handles, pulling all the snow down. This is before you had really
Snow
dedicated
dams or-
equipment.
And this,
So
this
now we're billing for that.
yeah, this is all extra.
The all extra.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Expensive year for them.
So
Oh my God. It was just so.
so when they redid the contract, was it at that point were they doing it per year?
So they left it. Per inch.
Per inch, but was it for the year?
So the very first year, we had Richie Kaufman, and then all of a sudden, I met a woman, and every single month, this clown not doing a thing, Bren, right?
Yeah.
Literally, he's collecting the check. Me and your uncle had to figure out.
How did Spring Valley find out that you're getting because you're the ones that are there?
We're physically working.
And they know that they didn't hire you.
There was a woman property manager. She shows up to make sure the work's getting done.
Yeah, she's like, "Who are you?"
I said, "Yeah, well, Richie subbed it." Okay, so the light went on. So me and her went to her office, and the next year we cut him right out of it.
Yeah.
She got rid of him and brought us on board as the company that's physically doing the work. But every single month, you would think that this clown he's not doing anything, Brand. I'm telling you, he literally would drive through the parking lot, make sure we were there and gone.
Yeah.
Right? And we would chase him every month for that money. You would think that he would just say, "Hey, let me get these guys."
He wasn't
paid,
even-
And
he
if
wasn't
I'm
even
making 4 or 5 grand
supervising.
off the top, let me just take my clean.
He's getting the free money out of it.
We chased him. I can't tell you how many times I pounded on his front door.
Yeah. He wasn't even supervising.
No, drive through and be
He just
gone.
made sure it was getting done at once.
Made sure we showed up.
Yeah. Not
How-
even that it got done.
How often did you have to go chase like customers down for money back then?
For commercial customers?
Like all the time,
a lot,
right?
A lot. So the Spring Valley, we had the Spring Valley Shopping Center, and it was Arco Management. And these guys were famous for dragging you along. 90 days. Oh, yeah. And then as soon as, I'm not working anymore, boom, they would get you a check. Well, I got your grandfather. I got an old 1968 FWD. Nevin's running the FWD. I've got a pickup truck. Your grandfather's in another truck. We take all the snow during a snowstorm, and we call the owner. We've got the entrance and exit lanes with a 20-foot pile of snow. You can't go in or out. And we tell him, "Listen to me. There ain't nobody coming in and out of the shop center unless we get a check." He came over there in his old fancy Mercedes with a check in his hand. And that was the last season we worked for
So
him.
it was you basically.
And we were done. We were done playing the games.
That was basically like a protest.
No. We were telling them.
Yeah, you blocked the entrance.
It was a hostage situation.
No,
Yeah,
but
he
like
held
think
that
about
But we're-
think about
but
like
guys-
think about what you see on like highways now where people hold signs, they sit down and block
what
the
you
road.
admit, what you miss is that we busted our butts
Yeah.
for 3 years there, and every single snowstorm, it was a problem getting paid.
Yeah.
There's no
And this
direct
was their
deposit.
MO.
Yeah.
This was, and you can talk to a bunch of local like I can send you to Scott Curdy and all these guys. They worked for Arco back in the day.
Yeah, they all dealt
They'll
with the
tell
same
you
thing.
the same story.
Yeah.
James and Izzy, they'll tell you the same story.
Yeah.
Same story. And they were working with other people's money. And so they would hang on to the money as long as they could and just, and beat the living day. So we were just done with it, right?
Yeah.
And so we did that there. And then we did the Spring
So
Valley.
is this, at this point, is this still Stoll Brothers?
Stoll Brothers.
Okay.
Yeah. So we end up doing the Spring Valley Marketplace for 6 years. And all of a sudden, again, now it's snowing to beat the band. Now they're going to change the formula again. And I looked at your uncle and I said, listen, enough's enough. We made our money here. Let's get out of here.
Yeah.
And
Let
we
someone
moved
else
on.
deal with it.
And at that point, it was right after Katie was born that Uncle Dan, while we were working together, was taking police exams.
Okay. You knew that he wanted to become a cop.
Yeah. He would take a day off here, go take a police exam. Yeah. He didn't want to do construction.
Right.
Back then.
So at this point, we're like, what, 4 or 5 years after you and Uncle Den started Stoll Brothers?
So 86.
You started it.
Yep. So 86. 87, we got the Spring Valley Marketplace. So 1990, so 4 years. Katie was born December of 90, right? And when she passed away, we had, I had told your uncle, listen, I'm at the bottom of the barrel here in life. I got to figure out things. If you want to do your police thing, you go ahead and
now's
do your
the time
police
to
thing.
do
I'm
it.
going to just sit here. We closed down Stoll Brothers Construction. There was a little bit of a thing with Stoll Brothers Construction. We had a customer in New City Condos that had sued us for poor workmanship and stuff like this. While I was away on my honeymoon with your mom, this customer took it upon himself to have the excavation and mason contractor dig a trench out in his backyard, install 24-inch concrete pipe in the backyard, and build
A shooting range.
A shooting range underground.
You told me
I think
this
I told
story
you about
before.
this.
Yeah.
So I get a phone call from your uncle. He's running the job. I said, that is not on the plans. Clarkstown will not go for that.
We got to get off this
Get
job.
off this job site right now. Get a hold of Tom Zugerby. Tom was our attorney. Tom sent him a letter. So that turned into a lawsuit, right?
Yeah.
So we had this lingering over our head as young 20-year-old kids, right?
Yeah.
And we said, okay, we took some legal advice to put that company through bankruptcy. We get into bankruptcy court. The attorney doesn't show up. The bankruptcy trustee basically reams our butt out, right? But in that same room where we're getting the bankruptcy trustee is reaming our butt out, there's another attorney. So we walk out in the office and this guy follows us out and he goes, hey, you two got some problems. I go, I'm glad you noticed. And his name was Joe Haspel. He had a law firm over in Spring Valley and he just took a liking to us and we ended up going to, Joe was a great guy. Wife had a horse farm up in Goshen. We did some work. We offset bartered some labor for his legal fees. And we went to his office and I'll never forget. And he goes, I don't know who gave you this advice, but they gave you some incredibly hard, I won't say the attorney that gave us the advice. He's a local guy here. And some incredibly bad advice. I want to tell you what we're doing here. We're fighting this lawsuit. And if we lose the lawsuit, then we put the corporation in bankruptcy. That's it. We don't put the corporation in bankruptcy prior to fighting the lawsuit.
Yeah, you win the lawsuit.
So
Why'd
we
you
end
do
up
it?
going, guys, I'm 23 years old at this stage.
Yeah.
I'm in Rockland County Supreme Court jury trial as a 23-year-old with a $300,000 lawsuit back in then. For me, that would have been life-changing.
Yeah, it's a ton of money.
We end up going through the whole trial, and we end up winning. The judge, Judge Meehan, happened to have been a carpenter in his previous career before he became a judge, and they would ask a question, and the judge would just stop them right in their tracks and go, listen to me. You're not making no sense here. A 2x10 is 2.5 inches bigger than a 2x8 and blah, 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 blah. And, we do all this, or 2 inches bigger than a 2x8 and blah, blah, blah. And you're not understanding what's going on here. So at the end, they tried 3 different things. They tried to say we didn't act like in a corporate structure, which they said we didn't because I had signed the contract as George Stoll and not president, even though it was on George Stoll Construction Inc. or not Stoll Brothers Construction.
They're saying you signed it personally.
I signed it as George Stoll without president.
Yeah.
So now, I don't care what it is, I signed president after my name.
Everything.
Right? And I had this experience as a 22, 23-year-old kid.
Yeah.
And so we end up winning that. I remember Joe nudging me with his arm because I didn't know anything back then, legal term. And he goes, we got this. And we ended up winning, and that got put behind us. And so that time frame right now is that's April of 90.
Yeah.
So Katie's born in December. Christopher's already born.
Right.
Christopher's already born, right?
Yeah, we skipped over that.
Yeah, Christopher's already born. So we decide to go our separate ways. Dennis does his legal thing, and I always had the 845-786-2743 phone number.
Yeah.
Never
Now everyone's going to call us.
Never let it go.
Yeah,
It's
going
still have
viral.
that. So my phone's still ringing for construction.
Yeah.
So I'm still doing things by
When
myself.
this podcast makes you famous and people call you just to talk to you, you know why.
He's just lucky that
Well,
it's not
phone
the
number- that phone
$800
number-
a month.
We don't have that phone number anymore. So I'm still doing construction, right? And I'm still doing snowplowing,
Yeah.
right?
As Stoll Brothers still.
No, as G&D snow removal, George and Dennis snow removal,
Okay.
right?
So the construction is kind of
Construction is faded off. I'm doing things on my own.
so after the lawsuit, you end up winning the lawsuit. What happened to Stoll Brothers Construction? You kind of just killed
We just
it.
shut it down.
You just killed it.
Shut it down. We didn't have to go to bankruptcy. We just shut it down.
Yeah.
We withdrew our bankruptcy.
End of an era.
Joe, the attorney, withdrew our bankruptcy petition.
Yep.
And we just shut it down.
Yeah.
Just closed it down.
And Uncle Den is now a cop.
Yeah, Uncle Dan is in the police academy.
So he's in the police academy, but he's still plowing snow with you in the winter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because back then they weren't making. So when you go into the police academy, you either get hired as a local police officer and they put you through and you get your salary.
Yeah.
Or you get, I believe the word is sponsored. Uncle Dennis was sponsored by the Stony Point, but not as a hired, so he had no salary. So your uncle had just bought a brand new pickup truck.
So they're paying for him to go to the academy, but he's not getting a check.
not getting a paycheck.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're covering the cost of the academy. So
Yeah.
I end up taking your uncle's brand new Ford F-250 pickup truck, using it for the construction, for me doing construction while
Yeah.
he's in there. And we during Katie's funeral, one of the guys that I had, Joey Slane, that I had subbed work to, me and Uncle Dennis had subbed work to him and his partner James, had approached me and asked me what I was doing. And I said, I don't know, Joe. I got to figure things out here. And he said,
Yeah.
well, I got some projects coming up. And I said, all right, no problem. I don't, I don't want to be an employee. You let me know what you want to do. So we worked out an agreement. I worked by the day for him and blah, 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 and did some work.
So
for him.
you were basically a sub.
I was working for him, but just by the day, different
Yeah.
type of pay structure, right? And then my phone's ringing. So within 3 months of that, I get a phone call to build a 5,000 square foot house up in Stony Point. So I go to Joey and say, hey, Joey basically at that point was doing a bunch of kitchens and bathrooms, nothing big.
Yeah.
And I said, you want to build a 5,000 square foot house? I got it sold and everything like that, blah, 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 and at that point I would get the percentage of the construction, figure out what.
So this is 91, right?
This is 91.
So what, just for like comparison to like today, what is a 5,000 square foot home cost in 91?
That house ended up being about just under 500 grand back then.
And today
Four and
that's
change.
what would you
Oh, forget it.
guesstimate
Forget
for
it.
today?
5,000 square foot house, 1.4.
So it tripled.
Yeah.
We're
Look at
everything
look at
is
the price of everything.
everything's tripled.
Everything's gone through the
Yeah,
roof, right? So that was the first big project that Joey had done, and I brought that in, right? And so we were digging. Joey would tell me about his father-in-law, Bill. I would hear about Bill all the time. Bill's a mason. Bill owns large in-the-ground concrete pool company, did all the work for Sylvan, all up and down the East Coast. 25 guys, right? Boom, boom, boom. We're digging. Larry Brisson's digging the foundation for us. We're sitting down at the bottom, big, beautiful uphill lot. Larry back in the day didn't have an excavator. He had a track loader. So he would dig a road in and just hump everything out and load everything inside the foundation hole with the track loader. And he was pretty quick at it. He had a 963. Boom, he would do it, dig the whole hole out with a track loader instead of nowadays you do it with an excavator, right? And so we're sitting down at the bottom of the driveway. We're just almost done with excavation. And all of a sudden, Joey says, my father-in-law, Bill, wants to talk to you. He's going to stop by. So Bill comes by. I mean, it's April. It's April. We're starting this house. Bill gets out of the truck. He's got an, and never forget, he's got an F-150 4-door, like a 1990 4-door F-150 4-wheel drive pickup truck, short bed. He gets out, big old red and black checkered, like a flannel on and big beard, and deep voice, and I'm Bill, and I don't think at that time Bill was still smoking. But he got out and had a cup of coffee in his hand, and we were shooting shit on our tailgates. And Joey tells me, you do a lot of snow plowing. I go, yeah, I do a lot of snow. Well, I got a lot of trucks and a lot of employees that sit still during the wintertime, and I need to get busy. And I'm like, all right, well, let's
figure something out.
Let's figure something out. And we start talking, and he goes, well, and I said, well, we're going to keep this amount of guys. We got to get the Nanuet Mall.
Yeah, you need a big job.
I'm already doing the Spring Valley Marketplace.
Yeah.
Everything that
which at this point you want to get rid of the Spring Valley Marketplace.
No, not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. And I'm still doing the Tompkins Lake Colony. I'm still doing the Bank in New York. So everything that I had prior to this meeting, nothing changed for me. I tell Bill, if we're going to do this, we got to get the Nanuet Mall. Well, that won't be a problem. I'm working over there right now.
So he's
said,
got
really?
He
goes, yep, I'm doing all of the decorative block on the building is crumbling. I'm replacing all the decorative block on the building.
And this is a property manager who's he's dealing with there to get the job, right?
He's dealing with the general manager of the mall.
So they didn't even, at this point, they didn't even have a property manager.
No, they have a on-site general manager that
who oversees everything in the mall.
That oversees everything. And the mall, at that stage, full-time on-staff maintenance crew. Well, that's a lot of stuff was done in-house.
But they're not plowing snow.
No. So they're not plowing snow. So Bill's doing all the masonry. He talks to the manager, the mall manager, and tells him we want to bid on the snow. So we put a bid on the snow. We end up getting the snow. So we end up, 91 was the start of that. And we made money hand over fist there.
Yeah.
We worked our tails off, but we made a lot of money there.
So he brought on, he said like 25 guys. How many did you actually?
He had 20 guys.
How many did you actually have working at the mall? It's like a 6 or 7 person job, right?
At that point, we would run 15 guys.
Oh, a lot.
Yeah, because Brent, snow pushers weren't available. You didn't
and
have snow pushers then.
Yeah. So nowadays you're clearing 20 feet at once.
So we had.
This is all with trucks and like power angle plows.
You're plowing everything. Your loaders only have the bucket on the front, right? So if you got an 8-footer or a 10-foot wide bucket, that's all you're doing, right?
Were push boxes a thing?
No, not yet.
They weren't even a thing.
They were just starting to do it, right? So what we had was 10 single axle trucks, and we would do 5 would work together, and we would plow as far as we could. We would start at the building, all of the small trucks. Like I had a Bronco. Joey had a Bronco. Bill had an F-150. Little Billy had a Dodge pickup truck. We would all go around and push from the sidewalk curb of the building, push it into the parking lot, just clean it up real quickly, get it through the throats of as you come out of the parking lot into the driving lane in front of the building. We would do that with the small trucks and get it just past the curb line, and then all of a sudden, the big trucks would come, 5 at a clip.
What's a big truck?
Big truck is back then a GMC 7000, International 5070A, LN 9000.
So decent sized trucks.
Decent single axle dump truck.
Yeah.
Right? 40,000 GVW. Those trucks at a clip, 10-foot plows, 11-foot plows, maybe you're plowing 8'9" at a clip, right? Depending on what the windrow was. And we would just keep on pushing that long ways until the windrow got too big, and then we would hop over the windrow, start up again, and then the loaders would take that windrow and push it all the way to the end and stack it.
Okay. So
You talk about a long night.
yeah, I
It was
could
a long
imagine.
night.
And
Old loaders.
at this point in time, malls are popping.
That's it. Every parking space had a price tag on it.
Yeah. Nowadays, malls are like
Malls are dead, and we'll get to as we get
yeah.
and why. I
So
got rid of that
so when you guys take on a job like this, and you're all coming in your personal vehicles, right? Everybody has to bring their own plow truck. You don't have a fleet of trucks for these guys to show
I
up.
do. I at that point I had a fleet of trucks, and Bill had a fleet of trucks.
Okay, so these guys are showing up and getting in your trucks.
Yep.
Okay, all right.
And me and Bill, for the mall, we pooled our equipment. Everything became one. And you remember how we had G&D snowplowing?
Yeah.
It became GDB, George
Okay.
Dennis Bill.
Okay,
Your uncle wasn't involved with us in the later stages. The earlier stages he was.
right. And once he
With the
became
mall
a
and
cop.
stuff like that, not really.
Yeah.
And so we would pool our equipment, and then I had the first couple loaders,
Okay.
my own loaders before we started, and then after the first season, we were subcontracting a bunch of guys.
So how do you figure out a pay structure for? Is it like depending on who supplies more vehicles? It's like you guys
No.
have to split.
No,
You
we
get-
didn't look at that. It didn't matter if Bill came with 3 and I came with 7. We were in a partnership together.
Yeah.
So for that end of it, we didn't take a paycheck. We just worked our tails off and left the money. The business structure was this. George was responsible for making sure we had all the necessary equipment that we needed, and me verbalizing Bill, all right, you got to get a couple. Bill's trucks didn't have plows on them. You
Yeah.
got to get a plow on this truck, got to get a plow on this truck. And
Yeah,
Bill
we
would
have
do
to
it.
use this to
That's
plow
at his
stuff.
cost
Yeah. Yeah.
to come to the show, basically, right?
Yeah.
My truck's already geared up, plow, sanders, everything. So when I would tell Bill, we need this, we need that, and he did it. Bill was serious as a heart attack, right?
Yeah.
And Bill's job was managing our money. He worked the snowstorms, but after the snowstorms, Bill would head back to the office, do all the paperwork. I would do the billing, send it to Bill. Bill would send it in. He would receive the checks, put it in the bank, manage our money, make sure we were in the proper sweep accounts. We didn't take money. We didn't take it. We just let it grow.
And this is in the company account.
This is a company account.
So then you're paying everybody else who came to work for you guys.
It's getting a paycheck. It's hourly pay.
Getting paid.
It's just an
No matter-
employee.
no matter
Except
what the-
for like Joey. Joey would show up with his Bronco.
Some people would bring their own vehicles.
Yeah.
They get paid a little
They
more.
would get paid. They would get paid by the hour. Joey would submit a ticket. Okay, I had 15 hours this snowstorm. So the very, very first winter, I had 3 loaders, and we had 3 loaders subcontracted to us, and it snowed to beat the band. And so now we have a decent amount of money.
So is this per inch type of contract or
Per hour.
the contract?
Every piece of equipment that moves per hour.
Jesus, that's how you're making so much money.
Dude, we were in that mall. We got a 22-inch snowstorm. We were there for 60 hours.
Wow.
Oh my god.
And
was crazy.
every piece of equipment being ran is billing per hour.
Per hour.
Wow.
Time and a half after 8 hours. Double time on Saturdays and Sundays. Holidays.
And they just paid it.
Nope. Simon was a big company. Simon's a
Yeah.
big corporation.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. And so then...
You're not getting a contract like that these
So
days.
then-
Never.
Then, well, now they're all national. So
Yeah.
they all watered it down, and then you got some clowns that don't even own a snowplow that has the contract.
Yeah.
Right? And he's beating the living daylights out of the guy that's doing the work. So we avoid all those that nonsense. But so in our area, there was Rockland County Excavation. Steve Darrow owned it. Steve was not over in that area doing snowplowing. He was more in Haverstraw, West Haverstraw, Garnerville. He had those shopping centers.
Okay.
He was the first one to send a truck out to Buffalo to Protect snow pushers. Protect snow pushers back then were the only,
We still
Only
have
people-
we have Protex.
yeah. They were the only people building snow pushers.
Yeah.
He comes back with 2 snow pushers on his lowboy,
Yeah.
And he's got them at the Samsondale Shopping
What
Center.
what size? Like 14s?
16-footers.
16s. Okay.
So then,
Were they making 14s through 20s?
They were making all different sizes.
Yeah.
All different. Nowhere near the product line they have right now.
Yeah. But it wasn't just one size.
So Steve has a shop down in Haverstraw. He's got a block building. This bay is Jimmy McDade's welding shop. That's where Jimmy was working out of, and Steve had his.
Does he have a shop now? Or he just works.
No, just works out of his backyard.
Yeah.
And then Steve had the whole, gravel yard with all his equipment and everything. So Steve, being the fast thinker that he is I got Jim paying me rent. I don't know if this is the formula, but I got Jim paying me rent. So here's the snow pusher that I just purchased. Jim, how quickly can you build? Jim, and Jim, he can build anything. Now, I can build
he's
that.
making you guys snow pushers.
We had, until we sold that lot next to the Palisade Center with all that surplus equipment.
Yeah.
2 of those snow pushers were the original ones that Jim McDade built.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Way back then. And so Jim built them for Steve, and that's where the idea came. Oh my God, we can do twice as much amount of work, half the time, half the equipment. I got to get this. How do I figure this out?
Yeah, but then you're not billing for as
No,
much.
but hold on. So what I did was I was able to buy the hour for every snow pusher.
So it's a different rate.
A different rate.
Yeah.
So every loader is going out, back then it was $185 an hour. If you put the snow pusher on, I was getting another $125 an hour for the snow pusher.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah. Dude, we were
But a snow
it was just
pusher
crazy.
a snow pusher is 3 buckets.
Yeah.
So they're losing.
But we
about
weren't
the same.
losing revenue, Brent, because we were becoming more efficient. We weren't losing revenue.
Yeah.
We were being more efficient, so we took on more work.
You're making probably the same amount of money in less time.
Less time.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Less abuse on the equipment.
So it didn't really change much on either end. They're paying you as much, you're making as much, and the job's getting done faster. Everyone's happier.
He just has more people now to go do other jobs because now he needs.
Well, yeah, and whoever's paying you, whoever you have the contract with, is happier too because their costs didn't go up, and you're getting the job done faster.
Getting the job done faster. The mall's a safer environment for their customers, right?
Yeah,
And
it's a win-win for both of you
It's
guys.
a win-win for everybody, right? We never had the only time we ever had a complaint at the Nanuet Mall was when the Palisade Center opened up a couple miles down the road and the Nanuet Mall took a hit. When the Palisade Center opened up, man, it was like a new pair of shoes. Everybody wanted to go there.
Nobody was shopping in Nanuet anymore.
Nobody was shopping at the Nanuet Mall. Next thing I know, I would show up to do a
So for context, for the people who don't know the area, the Nanuet Mall is a decent sized mall. Your average mall.
Yep.
The Palisades is a monster.
Was the 3rd largest mall in the country.
It's 4 floors. Do you know the square footage
It's
of
5. It's actually 5. They built the 5th floor without nobody knowing. Yeah. So there's 5 floors.
what, a basement?
No, 5th floor in the attic.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, but there's no stores up there.
No, nothing.
Yeah,
They can't because they weren't zoned for that.
Oh, so they just built it trying to get away with it.
Mysteriously, a 5th floor appeared.
And near the hockey rink, isn't there like
That's the 4th floor.
Yeah, there's
the
some
4th floor.
rooms there that they can't
Right
use
above
because it's
that.
too much square
Right
feet.
above
So do you know square footage of that mall?
I don't.
If you had to guess, what would you say?
Million
square feet. It's massive.
What is the square footage, Chris? I mean, nowadays with Google, you can have it in 2 seconds. Palisade Center, gross square footage.
It's absolutely massive.
2.3 million square feet.
2.3 million square feet.
That's building.
And 2.2 is leasable.
So then you need a parking lot around that entire thing.
Oh, it's gigantic.
Yeah.
200,
you had-
over 200 stores in the place.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you had back then you had the J lot, right, which was the commuter lot. So when all the regular lots are filled up, they had a bus service. You park out there, they bus you to the mall.
Even though it's walkable.
It's,
Well, you're walking-
but you
you're
can't-
walking to Home
It's
Depot.
not walkable. You get killed.
You're walking to Home Depot.
The ring road, the ring road would get you killed. There's no sidewalk.
And at Home Depot, there's no mall entrance.
None.
You can't walk from inside Home Depot into the mall. It's
Really?
it's
No,
part
you
of the
can't
mall.
because it's backed up to BJ's.
Yeah,
the lower part
it's
of
just
Target.
Just an outside door. Yeah. So you
Yeah,
would
so-
walk there. Otherwise, you got to walk up the
there's
ramp
no
and then
sidewalks.
into like Target.
No sidewalks, so it's not safe.
Which was it Home Depot back then too?
Yeah.
So that Home Depot's never changed.
Yeah, all
Target
the time.
probably wasn't
All the
Target
time.
when it first opened.
So that J lot. So the first couple years, we didn't have the Palisade Center. Right.
Yeah.
We're figuring out how we have to get this.
So while the Palisades Center opens up and you're still doing the Nanuet Mall and the Nanuet Mall's not getting as much business anymore, are they trying to cut pay to you?
Yeah, but hold on.
Because the snow still needs to be cleared.
I had a very, and I want to get my years correct. All right, well, I can't find Bill's obituary, but so I'm gonna try to figure it out. We're doing the mall. We're cruising along, making a ton of money. The Palisades Center is open.
Did you have both at one point?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Palisades Center is open. And the Nanuet Mall's taking a hit. And we show up to do work. And the next thing you know, they've got like clothesline, rope
Yeah.
with cones with little wooden sticks in it, coning off all major sections of the parking lot. Don't plow this. Don't plow that. Don't plow
Just
this.
to
don't
save
plow
money.
That. Just to save money, because we're by the hour.
Yeah.
And so we get through that first season of that. And then it's, man, I want to say 98, Bill passes. I get a phone call from Joey Slane, his son-in-law. Hey, they just rushed Bill to the hospital. He passed out while they were plastering a pool. He was in a pool plastering a pool. They got him up out of the pool, sat him in a polyresin chair, and the guy he wants to call 911. No. And Bill was a tough dude, and he said, no, I just want to get back to the shop. Blah 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 blah. So he gets in his pickup truck, and Billy, his son Billy, follows him back to the shop. They go in the front door, and as soon as you entered their shop, to the right was a bathroom, a little half bath, sink and a toilet. Then you go around the wall there, and on the back side of the bathroom was Bill's office. You go in the hall, and there's his office. So Bill walks in and goes into his office. Little Billy goes in and takes a leak, comes out, and goes in the office and falls dead in his chair. As soon as he got in his, what we're surmising, in his element, he lived in that office, right? He spent a lot of time. He passed away, and what it ended up being was an aneurysm, is what I believe the final medical thing. But so, guys, when I tell you that certain people appear in your life at certain stages to help you with things, I'm not joking. I was a young kid. I didn't know anything when Bill LaFrancois came into my life. I was a bull in a china shop. If you owed me $10,000 for a job and I showed up to get a check and you said, hey, I got $7,500, I'd be like, well, why don't you have the $10,000? No, and basically, stick the $7,500 up your ass and, $10,000. And every week, me and Bill would meet for lunch and just talk. And he goes, whoa. Run by me what you did. I told them to take that check, stick it up there. He goes, hold on. The last time I did math, 7,500 was a lot closer to 10,000 than zero. You take the 7,500 and you fight the 2,500 on a different day.
Yeah.
I go, damn, man. And it was just little examples like that.
Yeah.
Where he had already beat his head against a concrete wall, proverbially, and did all of his things in life business-wise. He's 20 years older than me.
Yeah.
He'd already seen it, done it, been there. And I'm like, man, and so...
He knows all the stuff that you're trying to learn.
That I'm trying to learn.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm learning it the hard way.
Yeah.
And so he just taught me a lot. And I tell everybody, You might not have liked what came out of Bill LaFrancois' mouth, but take it to the bank. He's as serious as a heart attack. And when he says it, you can guarantee it's happening. And so we just ran with that philosophy, and we did it, and it was super. You see how I like to have everything nowadays, brand, all the trucks matching, the letters, and all this other stuff, right? And I try to get everything as much as I can. It's being somewhat fiscally responsible. Bill, hey, that new paint ain't gonna make us any more money. And then we weren't buying a gallon of paint. We weren't doing nothing to fix anything up. We weren't doing nothing. You know, you want magnetic signs for the door? All right, I'm all right with that. You know, back then, a couple $100 for magnetic signs. You know, middle of a snowstorm, they're flying off because they won't stick. You know, this is rudimentary.
Now we're spending $3,000 a truck to wrap them.
Yeah. But different times, right?
Yeah.
And so Bill passes away, and so now I'm partners with his wife, with Marie, right? And I'm like, well, I didn't.
So did you keep all of his employees, like for snow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I kept his sons on board. And I said, I went to his sons, and I told him, listen, I didn't sign up to be partners with Marie. I didn't sign up to be partners. I just signed up to be partners with your dad. I said, I'm going to work it out with your mom. We went to the accountant. We paid all of any taxes we owed, anything, and then we came up with, and Uncle Dennis, the three of us all took a split, right? Uncle Dennis got his portion of it, I got my portion, and Marie got Bill's portion. And we just...
This is the end of GD and B.
GD and B. Boom.
That's the end of it.
Yep, done. And so in 1994, I was working for Joey Slane, and there was a couple projects that
Whoa. We skipped over my birth.
Oh, yeah.
Huh?
Come on.
That one's important.
What happened?
93, I was born.
Yeah, 93 you were born, but I have a picture of you in a little tractor.
All right. Now we can continue. 94.
Yeah, but so 94, I'm doing a job, and I'm doing it for the Underdunks. I'm siding their house, putting Anderson windows in it, and I'm working with Joey.
So this is Stoll Brothers construction is done.
Done.
What are you working under?
I'm working for Joey under Slane Construction, just as like a by the day piecework. If I get a job that's small enough that I can do by myself, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Decks?
But it's not George Stoll Construction yet.
No, nothing. It's just George Stoll out doing work.
Yeah.
Right?
Laborer.
If I get a deck or I get a siding job and I can do it on a Saturday and Sunday, boom, I'm doing it. And I'm just out hustling it.
Yeah.
Right? But I'm still doing the snow plowing.
Yeah.
Full bore.
Snow plowing at this point is under what name?
Snow plowing was under GDB.
Oh, it's still under GDB, but
Yep.
GDB's really
So once
just you at
Bill
this point.
passes away, I transition everything over to George Stoll Construction.
Oh.
And that's why I bounced back to 94. Because in 94...
Oh, so he passed away after 94.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah. So 94, I'm working for his son-in-law, Joey. And there's a couple projects that I think that Joey owes me money on that I didn't get my money. And so I just decide, I call your grandfather. He's working at Tilcon. And I said, I've had enough. I said, what are you doing tomorrow, Pop? Oh, what do you need? I said, can you take a day off? I want to go to Massachusetts. I want to buy a brand new mason dump. Yeah, sure. So your grandfather, like clockwork, hangs out. Me and him head out to Massachusetts. I buy a brand new F-350 mason dump, 9-foot Fisher plow on it, right? Everything. Central hydraulics. And that's...
So this truck was loaded.
Back then, this truck was loaded.
Yeah.
Power stroke, very, like, we're in the beginning stages of power stroke diesels, right?
Okay.
Beautiful truck. And I already had Uncle Dennis's red pickup truck, Ford F-250 with a power stroke in it, because he went to police academy.
Yeah, so you took his
So
truck.
I'm still using it. I got a red cap on it.
Yeah.
So that, and I'll tell you the timing.
Here we go again.
Perfect.
What was, Chris, what was O.J. Simpson's trial when OJ was found. OJ found not guilty.
95.
That was 95? Okay, so that's the year. That 95, not 94. 95, because I'll tell you why. I'm sitting on a scaffold in the front of the Underdunk's house with the picture window out. I'm putting the picture window in the house, and me and Mrs. Underdunk are watching the TV with the OJ trial.
So she's in the house.
She's in
You're
the house.
right
I'm outside on
of
the
it.
scaffold. I got a window.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, they come to a decision.
This is an important. This is very big.
Oh, back then it was Major League.
That was probably
Major League.
That was probably the biggest thing that happened that year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. And so we're watching, and all of a sudden, if the glove doesn't fit, you must have quit. And they found him not guilty. I almost fall out of the scaffold, right? Yeah. I'm like, not guilty.
Yeah, there's no way.
Yeah. We're like, oh my God, right? And so we just continue on. But that was the time that I called Pop and said, listen, gotta go. That's April, I think, right? What's the date, Bren?
I'm not sure.
What's the date? So and I'm gonna tell you, and so all October 3rd of 95. The verdict was delivered October 3rd of 95.
In October.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, October 3rd. So I go with Pop, get that truck, and come back and decide I'm no longer working with Joey. I'm going to do my own thing, and I started George Stoll Construction.
95.
95.
End of 95.
End of 95. Yep.
So
Filed for my corporation. I got a Rockland County business license right then. And then in July of 96, I filed for my C Corp.
Okay.
And I became a corporation.
So when GDB kind of ended, but
unfortunately with Bill's passing.
But it really became just you, because you were still doing snow under that. After that.
Yep.
Once George Stoll Construction was an actual corporation, did all of your snow be performed under George?
It did. We moved it right over to George Stoll Construction.
So then at this point, snow and construction are both happening under George Stoll Construction.
So a couple years later, we get informed by our GL carrier, our general liability carrier, that they no longer want to insure general contractors for broad snow removal of what you're doing. So that's when I had to come up with a name.
That's what triggered the CSB.
That's what triggered CSB. And so I'm sitting at home with your mom, and I'm going, all right, what are we going to name this? So,
I need to come up with another company now.
The C is Christopher, S is Shannon, B is Brandon. And we just, as simple as that.
Yeah.
Right? And so then we start that. We do that. So that's, I believe that's 98. Late 90s. I actually thought it was July of 97 that I did a bunch of that stuff. I have to look back on the business certificates, but it's all blurry because so long ago.
Yeah.
So we started CSB, and we haven't looked back.
Yeah.
So then I just went on guys, we had Pfizer Pharmaceuticals. We had
So you at one point you had the Nanuet Mall, the Palisades Mall, and Pfizer.
All at the same time.
All at the same time. Yeah. And
We're busy.
Yeah. You had a lot of guys working for you.
Oh my God. 75 guys.
You had Pop burying cars.
Oh yeah, Pop mowing down fences, sliding on the ice at Pfizer, mowing down 8-foot aluminum fence like it was going out of style.
What's the craziest thing Pop did when he was plowing?
Probably burying cars.
Yeah, I would say that. Sliding over on the ice, and because I would be fit to be, because at Pfizer's site, that fence line is critical to operations. You're not allowed past
It's a security fence.
Yeah, it's a security fence. And once you bang it down, now it's breached, and the whole world's coming to an end,
Pop knocked it down?
Oh, my God. Pop's got a loader halfway in, halfway out. I'm like, what do I do? So at that point, Yabu fence, I became real good friends with the guys at Yabu fence.
Yeah.
They were over there changing out sections of fence like it was going out of style. And so that was one of the sites, Brand, that we would push out to the grass. We had a ton of grass out in front. Push all those massive parking lots to the grass.
You weren't doing the inside of Pfizer, right?
At that time, so Pfizer came. So Pfizer had somebody doing it, and they weren't happy. And it was Brickman. Brickman had the contract.
Okay.
So they weren't happy with their subcontractor. They get word that, hey, there's a good guy, Jimmy O'Sullivan from O'Sullivan Tree Care, says, hey, George is down at the Nanuet Mall. If you want to go see him, blah, blah, blah. He comes down. The vice president of Brickman calls me, great guy, and says, hey, I want to meet you at the Nanuet Diner, right across the street from the Nanuet Mall.
Yeah.
So I meet him right there, and we talk, and we over a hamburger, we worked out the deal. He said, how soon can you be here? How soon do you need me? Well, I need you tomorrow. I said, okay, let me get you. So we ran down, Brand. We had 6 loaders down there, 6 loaders, 6 trucks, and we were there for a long time.
So how did you just come up with all of this extra equipment?
Oh, I started buying it all.
Yeah. And you've made enough money at this point that you can just go and
financing
get loans for all of this.
Financing stuff. But
Yeah.
my goal back then was, and it still is to this day, that I try to have anything big purchases, 50%.
Yeah.
I don't want to be financed 100%. I don't want those big notes anymore.
Yeah.
I want to be able to 50% of it, and then I try to bang away real quickly at it.
Right.
And get that asset loan free to where we're putting money in a checking account.
So at this point, like doing those 3 sites alone is a lot of work.
Oh my God, Brendan.
Would you say that was bigger than what we're doing now?